The undead don't like to dance. They love it.
Hi! Oh, this is slightly weird. Okay, so this is new for me, kind of. So if anyone's come here from my various social media outlets where I posted a link to this video, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, hello. Thank you for following the link and thank you for coming here. It's lovely to have you here, and I hope that you actually do get to know me a lot better from watching this. For anybody who's stumbled across this completely randomly through generally YouTubing, hi! So I think the best thing to do in order to help you get to know me a little bit better, if you want to, and because you're here I'm assuming you do, would be to tell you to do the 50 facts about me tag thing. So 50 random things about me that may or may not be interesting. It's really hard to think of 50 even vaguely interesting things about yourself when you know you and you actually think you're a little bit dull. So with the help of some family members and friends, I came up with 50 things about me. So thing number one, I'm hypermobile. And for people who don't know what that means, it means my joints do really weird shit like this. Like, you know, your thumb's not supposed to do that. Your elbow's not supposed to kind of bend that way. That elbow's not too bad actually. My knees are pretty bad. But yeah, normal people can't do that. Or this. Yeah. I have a random scar on this eyelid, right in the crease, that was gained from an accident involving chicken wire. Coffee. A day without coffee is like a day without sunshine. I can't function without caffeine in the morning. Ideally, a nice frothy coffee with soy milk and 2 sugars, please and thank you. I'm a vegetarian. I am not a preachy vegetarian. If you eat meat, then it's your own life choices. I choose not to. I don't like meat. I never really liked meat that much in the first place. And no, I don't like bacon. I never really liked bacon. On my last count, I think I owned over 40 pairs of shoes. I wear one on a regular basis, which is my Docs. I wear nothing other than my Docs. I have a huge jewellery collection. I love necklaces, particularly quite long ones. My wish list for Christmas consists mostly of jewellery. I buy a lot of jewellery. I like sparkly things. I have a really unusual phobia. I know that I'm not the only person in the world to have this phobia, but it's a weird one. I'm terrified of balloons. Like, I am a fucking hoot at kids' parties, I tell you. Growing up, I was a brownie. I was a sprite, and you kind of get put into your little houses as a brownie, which is kind of like a little girl's version of Scouts, I guess. You get put into like little houses, and the troop that I was with, quite a small troop, there was only 2 kind of houses or groups, so I can't actually remember the terminology, so feel free to let me know on that because I can't remember. I was a sprite though. The other ones were gnomes, but I was a sprite. I never actually gained any of my badges though because I ended up leaving brownies before any of that happened. But yeah, I was a fucking brownie. I love food. I love cooking and I love baking, and if I've cooked it or baked it, yeah, you're fucking right, I'm gonna eat it. I have a slightly odd addiction to buying stationery. If I see a pretty notebook or a pretty file, pretty pencil case, pretty pencils, even cute erasers in the shapes of animals, I'm probably going to buy it. Such as this little pretty notebook here that I'm reading all of these facts out of right now. I'm naturally ginger. See? My height reaches a grand total of 5 foot and 1 inch. I am a tiny person. For those who are aware of what I do, I have been an alternative model for the last 10 years, give or take a few months. That's a long time. I'm a fire dancer. I can fire breathe, I spin fire poi, I can do the whole body burning fakir thing, I can fire eat. It's not fire related, but I used to be able to do the human blockhead. The blockhead being the thing where you put a nail up your nose and tap it in. Yeah. When I was a kid, I collected Tamagotchis, or those little virtual pets. I had one single actual Tamagotchi and a bunch of knockoff Tamagotchis. I had, I think it was 12, and they were all alive at once. And when I was a kid, I wanted to be a vet, or a forensic pathologist, or a mortician. And on the subject of being a slightly weird kid, I used to love TV shows like Strange But True and The X-Files. Everyone knows what The X-Files is. For those who don't know Strange But True, it was essentially a program about phenomenon, i.e. ghosts, aliens, things like that. I loved that shit. My favourite colour, surprisingly, isn't black, it's blue. I'm an Aquarian, and I am a typical Aquarian. I am fucking textbook Aquarian. I'm a little bit odd, I'm eccentric, I'm flighty, I'm Aquarian. My hair dye colour, specifically this red, is actually made up of 3 different reds from Directions, a very, very specific mix of 3 different reds. When I was a kid, I had an imaginary friend, as a lot of kids do. He was Little Mouse, his name was Timothy, and my god, we did everything together. I 110% believe in aliens. I currently own 2 cats, a 16-year-old grumpy old lady called Charlie, and a 9-month-old kitten called Enki. My past pets have included various pairs of mice, a couple of dogs, and a fan-foot gecko. I am a highly emotional person. I will cry at the drop of a fucking hat. I cried watching the trailer for Warhorse. I have a little bit of a thing for moons, specifically the crescent shape. I have a lot of moon related jewellery. As you can see for this one here, I have a, you can't really see it, a moon tattoo on my chest. My ear jewellery is in the shape of a crescent moon. My septum jewellery is in the shape of a crescent moon. I just really, really like the overall shape of a crescent moon. The first record I ever owned was this. I'm quite a big believer in the power of crystal healing. I know a lot of people don't really subscribe to that kind of theory, but I do strongly believe in energies of the earth and all that sort of thing. So I have a collection of crystals that I use for various types of healing on myself, not other people. I love forests. I love being in forests. I think forests are the most amazing places, and some of the wildlife and little evidence of wildlife and past people who've walked before you and things like that just kind of really fascinate me. I genuinely really like being in forests. I am hugely clumsy. I can fall over my own shadow. I trip, I drop things, I fall up the stairs, I trap my hands in doors, I walk into doorways. I broke my foot a little while ago, and that actually happened because of a flight of stairs and a cat. I have a novelty sock collection. Well, not all of my socks are black. I have socks of every colour of the rainbow, especially if they have cute animal faces or bows or fucking pom-poms or some shit on them. I grew up in pubs. My mum and dad were licensees for a good couple of years. I just kind of grew up with the pub life. I pulled my first pint at the age of 7, and it was a pint of Carling Black Label. While I was living in pubs, I did spend some time living in Wales, and I did actually learn to speak Welsh. I can't remember a great deal of it, apart from the obvious things when you see on road signs as you're driving through Wales, but I can't remember how to say guinea pig. Really useful. I was a bad girl and got my first tattoo at the age of 16. I'm a huge gamer. I've been a gamer for near enough as long as I can remember. There is video evidence of me sat on the floor in my mum and dad's bedroom when we were living in one of said pubs, playing Sonic 2 on a Mega Drive at the age of 5 or 6. I'm currently 28, so you can kind of put that into perspective how long I've been gaming for. I've been to Disneyland when we went to Florida, and I met Mickey twice. I once played the Virgin Mary in a school nativity play when I was about 4 or 5. I can do this really weird thing with my little toe on my right foot. I can literally spread my toes out on both my feet like this, like a hand, but I can do this with a little toe on my right foot. I'm so not going to show you. I don't like to use the word artist as such, but I guess I kind of am. I spend a lot of time drawing, doodling, particularly like pointillism. I dot work, I do a lot of digital illustration as well. I have a massive interest in history. Pretty much anything historical, especially if it's really bloody and really gory, I find really interesting. Anything that is torture and execution related, typically, oh my god, who'd have thought it, is really interesting to me. But generally just history all over. That is the one thing that I enjoyed about learning about religious history in school. I went to a Catholic school. I didn't subscribe to the whole Catholic side of it, but I did enjoy the historical bits. Kind of hand in hand with history interest kind of goes my serial killer interest as well. Something about the serial killer psyche just kind of really fascinates me, and I enjoy reading about it and reading about the victims. I know that's a horrible thing to be into, but something about it. I have boxes upon boxes full of crafting materials, be they bits of foam for making God knows what, jewellery making materials, bits of ribbon, bits of lace, random little stick-on things, and it all sits and lives in boxes and never comes out. I do, however, sew quite a lot. I make an awful lot of DIY clothing, mostly because I learnt to sew. My mum used to work in a sewing factory, she taught me to sew. I can sew quite well. I tend to get quite stressed out with it though. But I do make a lot of things in DIY, a lot of things. Obviously I've DIY'd this out of a pair of tyres, but that doesn't really count because that's not anything special and anyone can do that. But I do sew quite a bit. And then it's a quite useful skill to have, because when you're in a pinch for a photo shoot and you need a certain thing and you can't find the thing but you can find the perfect fabric for it and a really good pattern, then make it. I am emetophobic. That means I am petrified of being sick. And I don't mean being sick as being ill or being like, oh no, I am not well. I mean actually the physical expulsion of being sick. I have a really irritating habit of biting the skin inside of my cheeks and off my lips as well. I believe it's similar-ish to dermatophagia, which is kind of where people bite the skin from around the edge of the fingers. It's supposed to be linked to whether it's OCD or anxiety or something like that. I kind of just do it out of habit. I don't feel anxious when I'm doing it. I'm normally concentrating, if anything. But yeah, I chew the skin from the insides of my cheeks, from the insides of my cheeks and my lips, and I eat it. I'm allergic to base metals, which is really unfortunate because a lot of my jewellery is in some way formed from base metals. There's a lot of costume jewellery. It brings me out in a really horrific rash, particularly necklaces on my chest. These ones I'm okay with, but I have an awful lot that do just within a couple of hours of wearing them, I'm practically scraping the skin off my chest. And when it's somewhere here that's really visible, it's not really very nice. I love coconut everything, coconut oil, coconut sweets, coconut cake, just the smell of coconut macaroons, like the ones you get from the Christmas markets in Manchester. Oh, they're so nice. I do genuinely love both flavour and scent of coconut. As mentioned earlier, I did go to a Catholic high school. As I'm sure you can imagine, being the way that I am and being very, very anti-religion, I caused a bit of a stir. The thing was, I was a straight A student, so they couldn't really get me on anything other than, oh, your hair colour's inappropriate, take that nose ring out, take those earrings out. And that was it. Generally, I was a really good kid. I kept myself to myself. I didn't get in trouble for anything. I handed my homework in on time. I did really, really well in exams and things like that. I was effectively a model student. They had nothing they could be angry at me for or to try and bring me down about. So the fact that I was a little weirdo goth in a high school that was Catholic, and I would sit there when everyone was like doing like the big mass prayers, when we had like the group assemblies and stuff, and everyone was kind of like, you know, praying, and I would be sat there like, because quite honestly, without trying or meaning to offend anybody, I wasn't going to fucking sit there and pray to a God I don't believe in. As some people may have noticed, I have scars, if my camera will focus on me high enough, and some smudge makeup. I do have piercing scars here and here. They're just the ones that are instantly visible. My past piercings obviously include my bridge, the side of my lip. I at one point had my smiley done as well, and my eyebrow. I don't think you can see any evidence of that. Oh yeah, you can. A little. I have a brother and a stepsister, but no other actual siblings. It's just me and my brother and my stepsister. I don't see my stepsister ever, but I have one. I see my brother all the fucking time. And the final one, now this one for me is kind of a big deal, although some people might consider it to be a bit of a first world issue. My birthday's in February, and we also have what is known as Valentine's Day in February. My birthday falls the day after Valentine's Day. You want to try getting a table for a meal on the 15th of fucking February or anywhere around that date. It doesn't happen. So there you go, it's 50 completely random-ish facts about me. Anyone who has followed me on social media for a while might actually know a couple of those, but hopefully most of them are quite new and in some ways interesting. Like, how many people do you know that have a scar on their eyelid from an altercation with a sheet of chicken wire? And how many of you genuinely knew that I was only 5'1" and that I'm a natural ginger? Or that I genuinely do believe that aliens had something to do with the building of the pyramids? Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give me a quick thumbs up, because that'd be really, really nice of you. And if you really, really, really liked it, why not subscribe? I do intend on making more videos, not just about me personally, although I imagine probably will just be about me personally, but other things as well, like goth related stuff, or potentially some modelling related stuff, or just general things that I do. I don't know. What do people do on YouTube these days? Anyway, bye.